Hi, today we'll be looking into how this platform affects the thing many of us engage with every day, gaming. There is a clear link between the games versus what are popular on the internet with the longevity of games, the lifespan for online games. This is clearly shown with the case of Predator Hunting Grounds, with it going downhill and the Dead by Daylight were going uphill in 2020 to 2021, finally with a stable player base with Evil Dead the game issues. We have people losing jobs and teams being liquidated. That has been a real problem. Let us start with how the internet affected the player base of Predator Hunting Grounds. Predator Hunting Grounds is an asymmetrical horror game with one team of soldiers with a list of objectives facing a single person playing as a powerful predator with its only objective is to kill soldiers with remarkably high tech. In June 2021, released on the Steam Deck, had 326 players, with the next month having an increase by 32%. However, the month after that, it lost 37% of the player base. After that is a mix between gain and loss, with it being loss going for a falling player base, with that mixed with a botched launch, led to an overall failed game. The game had attempted of a revival with DLC following Arnold's from the first-person Predator movie, with that Predator also making an appearance. However, it did not help much, with the game having a dwindling player base. The next game is Dead by Daylight, that is similarly an asymmetrical horror game with 4 survivors with no ability to fight back, with the only objective to complete 5 generators while not dying. However, the role of the killer is to kill the survivors by hanging them on hooks, with each killer having a different ability. In 2021, with the uphill player base, with popular DLCs, with the Resident Evil featuring a villain, Nemesis, and 2 heroes, Leon Kennedy and Jill Valentine, they were exceedingly popular, but got a follow-up Resident Evil DLC in 2022. This was only engaged by the fact that from the start of 2020 to 2022, it's tripled its peak players from 38,000 to 100,000, with many more DLCs, with a lot of popularity, with all-time peak players being in June 2021, with over 100,000 concurrent players. Alright, the final example of a multiplayer game player base is Evil Dead the game, that is similarly asymmetrical horror game based on the classic Evil Dead movies with 4 survivors and ability to fight back against a demon, with it having a consistent player base, with load times being consistent, meaning that the player base has remained the same with no player counts being available. The game was released in May 2022, so it's the newest game out of the examples. This game had many updates with the new characters from other parts of the franchise, with old characters from the franchise, with Blacksmith and Ruby from old movies, with the 2013 characters introduced with single player missions being included. This leads to real consequences of bad internet reviews with what happens with Forspoken. This is because that when the reviews about the game came out, it had been mostly negative, with a good proportion of the reviews being less than 3 out of 10, as the quality wasn't too high and the protagonist was annoying. This led to the team that made the game being liquidated, bought out by other companies that made the game losing the jobs. No need to say that the game release was a horrible and a colossal disaster for all parties involved. In conclusion, this shows there is a clear connection between how the internet affects the player counts and the quality of the game, with avoiding the declining player base and underwhelming updates.